And everyone's like, oh my God, can you believe this is happening? Can you believe this is America? Like, I can't believe this is happening. Yeah, motherfucker, like this is America. Like, of course this is happening. It's like this privilege that people just don't even realize that you don't have to, there's no fear.
Yeah, like I was like, this was like, it's like was so shocking, but it wasn't surprising, if that difference.
Yeah, exactly.
Means something. Yeah.
Exactly. So as you all, I'm sure everyone in America and the world knows how fucked up America is, and how the storm on the Capitol, something told me to watch Trump's speech live. And so I started watching it live on Periscope, and I was just like, wow, this guy, you know. And I had just listened to his phone call with the people in Georgia who he was trying to convince them to give him 11,071 votes or something like that. And so I was like, let me see what this motherfucker's gonna say, you know. So I listened, and then at the end, he's like, "No, I'm gonna walk with you to the Capitol. Let's all go and show the Republicans how to stand up to those Democrats." And I'm like, okay. So I like, I posted this video like, all right, I'm making chicken, but y'all should watch what's going on. There's a bunch of white people down in DC. They're crazy. They're gonna do something stupid. Sure enough, hour and a half later, they do something stupid. And I'm just sitting there like, what is going on? And like, I didn't, for the first like hour and a half, I did not watch any mainstream media. I was only watching right-wing media online to see what they were saying about it, because those are the motherfuckers who were going in the Capitol, right? So I'm trying to be like, what are you guys doing? What is going on?
Yeah. A little aside, I just give you props, Ashley, for like keeping your finger on the pulse of that like other side. Like I don't usually do that, but it strikes me as such a good idea, and I have a lot of respect that you do.
You know, back in the day, like a while ago, I used to listen to Alex Jones, but I do still get his emails. And I'm gonna show you guys this. I shouldn't even show you this. Hold on. Okay. I just canceled my subscription to this. It's called the Epoch Times. It is some right-wing bullshit. And at first, because I like to hear both sides of this coin, you know, I'm like, all right, you know, let me hear what they're thinking, what's going on in their heads. And I just have like thrown these, I've used these as my bottom layer of my garden. My hugelkultur bed outside is all laid out with Epoch Times newspapers, and I finally got them to cancel my subscription. I thought it was going to be, they say that they're independent, they're not mainstream, and so I'm thinking like, okay, they're going to tell the facts. But like when you actually like read what they write, it's not. It's just another bias of the same thing, which is actually kind of good because you know the truth is somewhere in the middle. So yeah, I was watching it, and I saw them storm the Capitol, and I saw this guy who was like setting up, getting ready to get his microphone, and you know, they were ready to be there all day, and then they started shooting tear gas. And then once the tear gas started getting blown, everyone started leaving, and then within like 20-30 minutes everyone was gone, and they had boxed everything out. Then I started watching mainstream media, and I was like, okay, let me see what everyone's saying. And everyone's like, oh my God, can you believe this is happening? Can you believe this is America? Like, I can't believe this is happening. Yeah, motherfucker, like this is America. Like, of course this is happening. These people have been crazy this whole time. And then some of my other friends and I were joking. We were like, well, where were the cops? Where were the cops? Everybody's like, where were the cops? They were in the crowd. You don't ask Hannah Montana where Miley Cyrus is while she's on stage. Do you know? They're the same motherfucking people. The same motherfucking people. So like, 100%. I just watch the mainstream and just like, ha ha ha. Like, I feel like I mean, I will speak for Black people when I say that we were probably just sitting back like, yeah, y'all shit. Told y'all the motherfuckers were crazy.
Yeah, like I was like, this was like, it's like was so shocking, but it wasn't surprising, if that difference.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, something. Yeah.
Exactly.
To me, it's just like, this is just nuts. This feels like a movie. It doesn't even seem real.
Oh, it's gonna get worse, girl. It's gonna get worse.
You know, with Trump even calling for white supremacists to.
He was.
you
He
know,
literally told them right when they started doing the vote. His speech was timed perfectly to be like, they literally, it's in the law to start the vote at 1 p.m. His speech started at like noon or a little after noon. It ended like right around 1. And then that was when Arizona, which is like a state, so it was one of the first states, decided to say, oh, I'm going to object to the votes. And so they started like talking a lot. And then that's when they started walking to the Capitol. So yeah, that shit was planned.
Yeah,
I mean,
coordinated.
Yeah. So also I recommend following Sean King. There was a video that he posted that was like showing the Capitol Police opening the doors and letting people in to the building. And then somebody said, one of the police was like, I don't agree with this. So clearly he was told to do that by somebody. And so the question is who, which, I mean, really, is that a real question? I'm nervous about our First Amendment trying to be taken away as a result of this, because I don't necessarily agree with what they feel, but it's a good excuse to take rights away from people. If you start blocking people from Twitter and you start blocking people from, all these places, if they say something that someone else is going to say is not true. And so now all of a sudden, who's the bearer of truth? Who decides what's true and what's not true? And that's when that's when I start to get my tin hat on and I'm like, hold on a second here. Like, this doesn't sound like America anymore, okay? Don't stand on my rights kind of thing.
A little more libertarian, yeah.
Anyways, thank you for letting me get on my soapbox. The next day, all this tension was built up inside me, and I've been going on walks with my friends pretty regularly, and I happen to be going on a walk with my friend in a park in Milwaukee called Washington Park that has a very, very nice amphitheater. And I wanted to share with everyone my cathartic method of releasing stress as a result of white people and white privilege showing its true face in America and no one stopping it and everyone being like, well, what do we do now? It's like, please, full screen.
All right.
And I just hope that somebody heard me. But
as you said it, the camera continued to kind of like pan along with you, like out of the screen. It was like the message was being propelled out, into the universe.
Yeah,
which is great to be received.
Yeah, and I think another element is, there is a lot coming out about the shittiness of white privilege, and yet it feels like it is like an empty amphitheater. Like how many people are actually receiving it. We're not fully taking it in and doing something about it. And I know it's complicated, but we're all a part of the system.
It's not complicated. It's really not. I mean, it's just part of the way that this country was created. And so it's like the idea of saying, well, now we need to change. It's like, that's a lot of history, of people just doing whatever the fuck they want to do and not worrying about getting in trouble. Like, I can't tell you how many times I've had to tell friends who I'm with, like, we can't just do that. We just walk by the cops. And they're like, oh, don't worry about the cops. I'm like, don't worry about the cops. Like, it's ingrained in me to worry about the cops. But my white friends are just like, oh, well, we'll just run through this red light. There's a cop right there. The cop didn't come get us because I live in Milwaukee and the cops in Milwaukee are terrible. It's like this privilege that people just don't even realize that you don't have, there's no fear. I mean, those white guys who were spraying at the Capitol police officers, punching them in the face, no fear at all, and they were yelling at them like with their Blue Lives Matter flag. So I don't get it. Maybe y'all can help me out. I don't know.
I appreciate the like impromptu video that you made, that just the screaming out of fuck white privilege, because we live in a crazy fucked up world where Racism, hatred, oppression is kind of normalized and maintained by the state. And it's just like, it's true, but to have it like shoved in your face so blatantly, it's still shocking and painful. And I don't know exactly what to do about the situation. Doing nothing, or just kind of blowing it off is like, well, that's just how it is. I don't think that works either. Like, I appreciate your anger because at least like there's a response and there's energy there.
Yeah, I mean, I had to tap out after an hour or two of watching the news just because I couldn't. Once the people I feel like once they got their cues as to what to say, everyone just keeps parroting everything over and over again, and I just can't listen to it anymore. Just not letting that stuff bother you when you wake up in the morning, I feel like is what's important. So
finding calm, nurturing calm isn't always about being in a meditative state or, thinking about how I'm grounding myself. It can also be getting something out so that that can be your pathway to calm.
This essay from Audre Lorde published in 1981, like is kind of eloquently named some of the things that we're talking about. And she says, anger is a source of empowerment. We must not fear to tap for energy rather than guilt. When we turn from anger, we turn from insight, saying we will accept only the designs already known, those deadly and safely familiar. I have tried to learn my anger's usefulness to me as well as its limitations.
Yeah, that reminds me of triggers in that sense. I do pride myself on trying to be calm as possible, but when I am triggered, lately I've been realizing it's an opportunity to reflect on what it is I haven't processed or something that is inside me that still needs to be worked out. And so it's okay to get triggered because it's an opportunity to look within. And I think that reminds me of that mindset of like, well, why did that person, what they had to say, piss me off so much? It wasn't even that big of a deal. Mm-hmm. Oh, there's something I need to work on. It's on me.
Trevor Noah about the dominoes of racial injustice, a video from Kimberly Jones. It kind of left me speechless and just like, it was kind of made me see things that I hadn't seen, which I think points to white privilege.
Yeah, I mean, when George Floyd got murdered, I think that it was definitely an awakening for a lot of people, and I didn't have, and as I'll speak for a lot of Black people, did not have the energy, capacity, or willingness or desire to help people understand systematic racism and how it's existed for so long, because it's real. And I was the child who would tell my mom, oh, no, that's not true. Racism isn't that real, but I knew, I mean, I still felt it. I still saw it. I just didn't want to most of the time. But yeah, I remember tapping out of that too. I was just like, nope, not helping. I'm not going to be the person who takes this moment to teach you about racism, because it's exhausting. It's exhausting. And so I feel like when I think of the Capitol thing, it's kind of like, what y'all gonna do now, and I'm kind of glad it happened, because I feel like I'm not happy that it happened, like the damage and the people dying, but I'm glad that it was like, it's reached that point where it's like, yeah, this is a problem. It's still a problem. We still need to fix it. It hasn't gone away just because it's 2021 and 2020 was horrible. It doesn't mean that, everything's okay now. We still have a lot of work to do.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. It's like, it's so blatant. They've just made it just, you can't say it's not a problem. You can't say, oh, I mean, just the difference between the response to, public gatherings, protests around Black Lives Matter versus what happened at the Capitol it's a slap in the face.
Yeah. I posted something that was like, stop comparing this to Black Lives Matter. And the reason is because it's not like Black Lives Matter. This is like when the white people, you know, would beat up the people who were going to non-segregated schools. This is like when the Black people were peaceful on the lunch counter and the white people got angry about it. This is like when all the other times in history that white people have gotten mad about the fact that their rights are being taken away from them, when really that's what it's like when you know you have privilege, is you feel like your rights are being taken away, when really you're just being made more equal to everyone else, but you feel like you're being brought down. That's how you know you have privilege. But it's not like Black Lives Matter. And in the beginning, I was thinking that too. Well, if those were Black people, this wouldn't have happened and wouldn't have gone down like that. But this is just like every other time in history when white people have gotten upset, and this is what they do. And this, hopefully we'll be able to do something different to respond, because it's so blatantly obvious with all the phones and the videos and all that other kind of stuff. We can't really camouflage it as well as they might have in the past, you know. I would like to write us out with a video, a 12-second video from the George Floyd protests.
Sure.
That I don't share. And one of the things that I also realized was white privilege when those people stormed the Capitol was that, like, I took part in a lot of protests in Milwaukee and in Madison, and I posted like maybe, I don't know, 5% of the videos and photos that I took, because I was afraid that I was going to get in trouble for being there. And I thought that, you know, the FBI or whoever would come find me somehow, you know. And that night that the Capitol got stormed, I was like, okay, I'm going to post this video on my Instagram story. It'll be gone in 24 hours and no one will see it. I'm probably safe because they're probably busy looking for a bunch of white guys right now. But the fact that I was so afraid to post something that I felt so passionate about is to me another example of white privilege. Like, those people posted videos of them in the house stealing things, and then, like, you know, just being like, oh, I stole the gavel, look at me. Like, how dumb can you be? But I'm glad that a lot of people are starting to get arrested. But like, I didn't even post a video of me marching in Milwaukee because I was afraid somebody was going to come get me. So I'd like to write us out with the song, this 12-second video.
Yeah.
Yes.
Long time coming, but I know change gonna come. Oh, yes, it will. Yep, change will come, y'all. I mean, it might not be here right now, but I'm still a firm believer that the world would be a better place. And that Sam Cooke's Change Gonna Come song is very powerful. And this girl was pulling this little wagon behind her and had a music blasting. And I was like, oh my God, this is the perfect song. I felt like it was my Martin Luther King moment, for real. It was a very powerful moment for me in my life.